Hello friends, today we are going to study the arrival of Britishers and then the various historical development in Indian history, but from political angle. Here we are not going to discuss the historical minutes of this topic. Here we are going to study every detail from the political side about legislative, executive development. We are going to study everything. This point is slightly factual and it is expected that you should have a basic understanding of all these things. Most importantly, UPSC every year asks at least one or two questions from this part of the historical development in British India. So let's start with the topic. First thing, Britishers came in India in 1600 as a trader. So here every minute detail is very important. I will be underlining only keywords so that it shall be more easier for you to understand the thing. So first thing, Britishers came in India in 1600, but they came in India as a trader. This point is very important. Now second important thing, they came in India in the form of a East India Company. East India Company, the company was given exclusive right of trading in India by the charter granted by Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth, many trading companies were there after Industrial Revolution. So out of these many companies, it was East India Company which got exclusive right to have trade in India. Other companies were denied to have any kind of trade in India, and it was based on the charter granted by Queen Elizabeth I. In 1765, company got Diwani rights in India. This is very important. Diwani right, what are the Diwani rights? These are rights over revenue and civil justice. These rights were given to the company by Mughal emperor after the loss at Buxar battle. Diwani rights were given to company in three important provinces. One, it was Bengal. Second, it was Bihar. Third, it was Orissa. In these three provinces, they got Diwani rights. Here, after getting this Diwani right, the company started its career as a territorial power. So here you have to remember it from prelims point of view, that you have to keep in mind that it is after this Diwani right the company got started its power as a territorial power. But over a time period, company developed her territorial expansion, and in 1858, that is after the first war of independence or after the revolution of 1858, British Crown assumed direct responsibility for the governance of India, and it continued till August 15, 1947. So this was landmark year. So here one thing that you have to remember, after getting Diwani rights in 1765, company started its career as territorial power, and after the revolution of 1858, British Crown assumed direct responsibility for the governance of entire India, and this responsibility continued till the August 15, 1947, when we got independence under Indian Independence Act of 1947. Now over a time period, it was developed specifically one year which should be remembered. It was in 1934 that M.N. Roy suggested that there is a need of the constitution for India. M.N. Roy was pioneer of the communist movement in India. Based on various demands by Indian freedom fighter, it was in 1946 that a constituent assembly was formed to frame constitution for free India. And it was on 26th of January 1950, constitution came into the force. So these are certain very important constitutional development which led to having a constitutional development which made India a sovereign state. So let's start with every point one by one. This was the first important era of company rule starting from 1773 to 1858. You have to keep this thing in mind. The company rule was more prominent from 1773 to 1858. We will try to understand every point one by one in a simple manner. But just keep one thing in mind, these are very factual points, very less analytical points are there. Every word, every point is important. I will be repeating every point at least 2 to 3 times. Keep your eyes and ears open. First, we'll try to understand the Regulating Act of 1773, what it says. Regulating Act of 1773, first important constitutional development in case of India. Let us see what it says. Now, the Regulating Act of 1773 was the first step taken by British government to control and regulate the affairs of East India Company. It was first step. So this could be a potential question for UPSC prelims, that Regulating Act of 1773, it was the first step taken by British government. Government is different thing, East India Company is a different thing. So it was first step taken by British government to control and regulate the affairs of East India Company in India. Second important point to remember is, this Regulating Act of 1773, it laid the foundation of central administration in India. This point is important. This act, Regulating Act, it laid the foundation of central administration in India. And third important thing, it recognized the political and administrative functions of company for the first time. It means company will not be working only for trade purpose, but the company will have political and administrative function was recognized by this act. Like company came as a trader and company got Diwani right by the charter or the announcement made by Mughal emperor, but it was this Regulating Act of 1773 which recognized the company's political and administrative function, that company will carry out political and administrative functions also along with the trading functions. Then what were the features of the act? So first important feature was the Governor of Bengal was designated as Governor General of Bengal. First important change. This is very, very important. The Governor of Bengal was designated as Governor General of Bengal. Lord Warren Hastings was the first Governor General of Bengal, and he had to work with the help of an executive council which has 4 members to assist him. It means the entire function of the British possessions shall be carried on by Governor General of Bengal. Warren Hastings was the first Governor General of Bengal, and he had 4 members to assist him in all his function. These 4 members were called as Executive Council. We have seen the meaning of word executive in the chapter on meaning of government. So the main function of Executive Council is to implement every policy, every program, every act and every action of the government of Britain and the Parliament of the Britain. So Warren Hastings, or the first Governor General of Bengal, had an Executive Council of 4 members for his assistance. The most important another development was Governors of Bombay and Madras were made subordinate to Governor General of Bengal. It means Governor General of Bengal was more powerful than Governor General of Bombay and Madras. So this is very, very important development. Also, this act said that there shall be an establishment of Supreme Court at Calcutta in 1774, having Chief Justice plus 3 judges. So this was the composition of first Supreme Court that was being established at Calcutta based on Regulating Act of 1773. The most important part of this act was it prohibited the servants of the company from engaging any kind of private trade or any kind of bribery, any kind of gift or any kind of corruption with natives in India. So this made an attempt to reduce the influence of members of company or servants of company on the administration of India. It tried to keep company just for regulation and control purpose, and company did not have more substantial role in the governance of India. So it was Regulating Act of 1773. The most important part of Regulating Act of 1773 was it created a court of directors. Court of directors, in simple words, it was governing body of the company. I repeat once again, court of directors was there, it was a governing body of the company. This court of directors was to report to British government on revenue matters, on civil matters and on military affairs of the company in India. So court of directors was the most important governing body of the company which was directly responsible to British government in Britain. This was the most important act of 1773. Just have a brief look at the important points. So Regulating Act of 1773, one small revision. It was first step to control functions of East India Company by British government. Second, it laid the foundation of central administration in India. It recognized that company had political and administrative functions. Then the features, Governor of Bengal was called as Governor General of Bengal, first important point. Second important point, Warren Hastings was the first Governor General of Bengal. Third, he had Executive Council to assist him in various functions. Fourth, the Governor of Bombay and Madras were brought subordinate to the Governor General of Bengal. This act said that there should be a Supreme Court at Calcutta having one Chief Justice of India plus 3 senior most judges. Then servants of company were prohibited from having any kind of engagement with the members of the native, and it established a court of director which was the main governing body of the company. Then came the Act of Settlement of 1781. It was an amending act which amended the Act of 1773. It is famous as Act of Settlement. The most important purpose of this Act of Settlement was to rectify the defects of Regulating Act of 1773. This was the most important purpose. Then came the most important act in this legal and constitutional development. It was Pitt's India Act of 1774, 1773, 1781, 1784. It was a Pitt's India Act of 1784. Now see what it says. First, it was presented by Prime Minister William Pitt. This name is important. Second, it established a system of double government. Like we have seen, the Regulating Act of 1773 had Court of Directors. Right? Sorry, just a minute. It had Court of Directors. Now, this particular Pitt's India Act, it created a system of double government. What was the meaning of double government? It means Governor General of Bengal had two important machineries alongside him. One, it was Court of Director. Second, it was Board of Control. As per Regulating Act of 1773, Court of Director was the governing body of East India Company. But the Pitt's India Act, which created double government, it divided the functions of East India Company in two different organizations. One, it was Court of Directors. Court of Directors had to carry out all commercial functions of the company, whereas Board of Control had to manage all political affairs. I repeat once again, the double government system which was created by Pitt's India Act of 1784, it created a system of double government. In double government, two important organizations were there. One, it was Court of Directors. Second, it was Board of Control. Court of Directors had to manage commercial affairs, whereas Board of Control had to manage political affairs. It created a new body which was called as Board of Control. Earlier we had Court of Directors to manage all political affairs. Court of Directors had to manage all commercial affairs of the company. So this difference you must remember: Court of Directors to manage all commercial affairs of the company, Board of Directors to manage all political affairs of the company. It was given in Pitt's India Act of 1784. Now, what it said? It said that Board of Control were there to supervise civil, military, government and revenues of the British possessions in India. See, entire India was not in the hands of Britishers. Only the regions, only the provinces, only the territories where they were given civil rights, they were given in Diwani rights, were called as British possessions. So, Board of Control were to supervise civil, military, government and revenue functions of the British possessions in India. They had no control over the princely native states. The most important development of Pitt's India Act was, for the first time, company's territories, that is territories which were there in the hands of East India Company, were called as British possessions in India. It means slowly they are shifting focus from East India Company to British government. This is very important development towards centralization. So in Pitt's India Company, it was for the first time that company's territories in India were for the first time called as British possessions in India. wherever I am using word first, you have to keep in mind these are potential areas for questions in prelims. Now the most important, next important point is, in case of this thing, British government got supreme control over company affairs in India. So under this particular act, British government started controlling the affairs of the company in India. So these were the two important acts. Keep watching for remaining important developments in the historical and constitutional and legal development of Britishers in India. So keep watching. Thank you very much.